In case you didn't know it, there are 365 days in a year, and today we meet the question that matters most. How will you show up for this one?
Join us today on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast.
And now your host, Jen O'Brien and Matt Emerson.
Welcome back, my friends. Today is a milestone here on the podcast. It's our 365th episode. And, if that's stacked, there's one episode per day, every day of the year. So if you're a brand new listener and you want to get caught up, it's going to take you a whole year to get caught up if you watch one podcast a day. Right. But that number carries weight outside of just, bragging about us having 365 podcasts, kind of. Not because what we just hit, but because of what it represents. It represents showing up, not once, not occasionally, but daily. So we're going to talk all about that, how you need to show up every day. It's a reflection on presence, on choosing over and over and over and over and over again to meet the day as it is, to meet yourself as you are. So as always, you can find all of our show notes over at wbnlpodcast.com. And we would like to remind you that we just launched our newest course our last week, the Clarity Series. And it's all about if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed or like you've lost your center. It's a 7-day reset for you, and it's built in 3 modules. And we dropped module 1 last Thursday. It's called Rooted in the Unknown, and in that module, you get a 7 guided breathwork kind of reflection, meditative audio sessions or video sessions. They're available for you. A daily reset journal to clear your mental clutter, and a micro movement flow to help you reconnect with your body. So simple micro movements just to get your body moving. You can enroll right now for just $22 before the full series drops, and the price slowly increases with each new module that drops. But if you head over to wanderingbutnotlost.com right now, you can get all the details and you can get started today. And once again, you are locked in at that $22 price if you get in here before the module 2 drops next month in July. So it's a great time to be a founding member of our Clarity Series. So once again, run over there to wanderingbutnotlost.com and get started on your reset today. So today, though, we're going to be exploring what it really means to show up every day, not just to perform, not hustle, but to engage with intention, to live your life like it counts. You know why? Because it does.
Let's start this podcast out about talking about the myth of consistency. We do talk a lot about being consistent, but let's break that down a little bit, right? Because it can get glorified and rarely really understood. So we're told to be consistent, like it's a badge of honor, right, Matt? Often it becomes a weapon to use against ourselves, a place where you're feeling like you're not enough. Maybe shame comes from it because you're like, I should be doing this. I should be consistent in my workouts. I should be consistent in my prospecting or whatever it is. But life isn't linear really, and neither is growth. So the myth says consistency is about doing the same thing every day. But what if it's about listening every day? Listening and discerning what's really important every day. Listening to your energy, your needs, your capacity. Because honestly, that varies day by day. This makes me think of the E-Myth Revisited. Yep. I love the E-Myth Revisited. Not E-Myth Revisited, sorry. I love that book too. That's for small business owners. I'm talking about the 4 agreements. And the 4th agreement is always do your best. And your best varies day to day. And that's kind of ties into this consistency thing, because if you are constantly trying to say on your best high energy day, if every day is supposed to look like that, then you're going to be disappointed. Right? So always do your best. It's going to change. So you have to listen to your energy and your body. Some days consistency can be you're up every day and you do a sunrise hike. That is my issue. I recently helped my nephew who's in between vehicles get to his work, and he gets to drive every day when the sun is rising. And so I did that for 2 days in a row, and I'm like, I need to be up every day seeing this beautiful sunrise. So that's an example of this. Other days, it may just be 10 deep breaths when you wake up. That could be, something consistent for you. So consistency, when reframed as devotion instead of duty, it becomes a little bit more freedom, it feels freer, right? Yep. You're free to evolve, to rest, to recommit. and not come from guilt on this. We do this too much to ourselves. We have to come from a certain place. What if you were consistent in self-respect, in your willingness to pause, in your commitment to not abandon yourself? So this is what we mean by showing up, and that's what we've learned 365 episodes in.
So let's strip away the noise on that. What does it actually mean to show up? It's not just checking a box or sticking to a schedule. It's relational. It's ritual, and it can be raw. So showing up to us really means being willing to face the mirror without flinching. I really like that one. Choosing compassion over criticism, walking even when the trail ahead is uncertain. It's not always action, remember. It's intention, or excuse me, it's attention. It's all about being focused and being in the moment. When you catch your breath before speaking, when you place your hand on the small of your back and you feel a little pain, where do I hurt? When you text a friend, I'm just thinking about you. All those little tiny things, are sacred. They're not just small. They're not insignificant. They're really sacred and important to the process and can mean a lot more than you think they mean. Sometimes the most radical act of showing up is just saying, I'm still here, right? It's just being present, being aware. And sometimes it's saying, I'm not okay, but I'm not leaving myself because I'm not okay. It's being committed to the process. This practice of awareness, of alignment, it becomes a rhythm, a pulse. And over time, it reshapes your entire relationship with yourself.
I love it. And I think what we're really speaking a lot about today is presence, this power of being in the now and having awareness. So we want to offer you something a little deeper today than just tips or life hacks, right? We want to offer you invitations. And I love this word today, invitations, because that carries a little more respect. They don't demand, they're more welcoming. So we're going to explore 5 categories where you can have daily invitations to begin this awareness and this presence. We're going to start with the body. So here's the question. We like to do a lot of prompts because this self-reflection piece really works for us. And this is what we've really been doing a lot. We do this in our Clarity series. You don't have to overthink what it is you need to do. It's just sometimes pausing. And in the pause, you find the invitation to connect, right? So for your body, you can ask, what is one way I can support my body today? So imagine you just what can I go do today? Maybe that's a simple stretch, an awareness stretch. Like you stop what you're doing, especially if you're behind the computer all day, and get up and do some stretches. We have tons of micro movements. There's lots of downloads over at wanderingbutnotlost.com to help you with that. So don't get overwhelmed by it. It may just be going out and taking a walk, going and standing out and getting some sunlight or touching a tree. It could be just, intentionally drinking a glass of water. I do that a lot. Or maybe it's taking a rest. Okay, so those are examples. What is the one way I can support my body today? Maybe you got up and you're super tired and you've got that pull to go be consistent and to do, but really what your body's saying is you need to rest. Honor it. Okay, so how about the second one, your mind? What thought loop do I need to interrupt? I love this one. Mm-hmm. What thought loop do I need to interrupt? Are you constantly having a thought, that is really interfering with everything that you need to do? It's usually self-talk, something that pops in that just only you can hear. So maybe it's journaling or doing some breath work or addressing limiting beliefs. All right, let's look at your spirit. What connects me to something bigger than myself? For me, it's always nature, right, Matt? I know Matt just had an awe-inspiring, soulful, spiritual experience going. Did you go to Sequoia?
Went to Sequoia. You can't not go there and not be
inspired. Sent me a picture, and it was enough for me just to see the big, beautiful Sequoia trees to have that moment, right? So it can be silence, gratitudes, music, prayer, whatever that is for you. Number 4 is connection. Where can I give or receive support today? Give or receive support today. Authentic conversations, boundary setting, just using eye contact when you're talking to somebody, maybe just smiling, conveying that. And then finally, exploration. What am I curious about today? Maybe you take a new route. I love this. We are really all creatures of habit. I was talking to a client who kind of does the same thing I do. I don't know if you do this. So I will usually drive one particular way, if it was to an office in the morning, but I won't take the same route coming home. Now, even that, though, is a little change of pace, but it's still a routine. This is about exploring a whole nother route. Okay. Reading something unexpected, saying yes to just, I'm going to go do that, something I haven't done before.
Yeah, and you might think of some of the times of these things as being, burdensome to have to be doing all this, but these questions really aren't burdens. Think of them as bridges back to yourself. Getting reconnected to yourself. You don't need to master all 5 each day, though. We are all about picking one thing and executing it and making sure you're doing it right? So just follow the nudge and notice what happens when you start living like each day is actually worth noticing. And that kind of gave me the chills a little bit to say that, because it's so true, because that's what it's really all about. It's about noticing what's going on.
I agree. And I think that there is always, if you have that awareness, there is always something happening, no matter what kind of day you're having.
Yep.
On a scale of 1 to 10, doesn't matter what it is, there's always something worth noticing and amazing. So here's your invitation, our wandering friends, start your own 365-day challenge. And this is not a challenge of effort. It's just engagement every day. Ask yourself, how can I show up today? That's just it. How can I show up today? And we just gave you some examples of where you could do that. That's it. Let the answer change. Let the form shift. But let the question anchor you. Every day it could be something different. So just be aware of it. So you can share all that if you want to. If you want to get into this with us at Mindful Wandering on Instagram, you can leave notes right underneath here if you're into that here on our YouTube channel. Or if you happen to be looking at us over on wanderingbutnotlost.com, where our podcasts are, or WBNL Podcast, there's all these places you can find us.
That's right.
Right? So I love this hashtag, 365 show up. How are you showing up 365 days a year? But mostly just do it for yourself.
Yeah, and here's the thing, even stopping to even give that a thought is already putting you in that moment.
Right?
You're already making the thing. So it's just really a commitment to think about it every single day, and it will change you. I mean, it really will, because, focusing in on something and trying to get yourself more centered and grounded can never be a bad thing. So if you're ready to take this conversation from inspiration to implementation, though, we have, of course, created something special for you. It's what do you know? It's we call it the 30-day show up journal. It's a daily invitation to presence, clarity, and aligned action. And it's not a checklist. It's really a companion for you. Each page offers space to pause, reflect, and return to yourself with powerful prompts, because that's what it's all about. Sometimes when you're sitting down and looking at a blank piece of paper or sitting somewhere, you're like, well, I watched that podcast and that's a great idea, but how do I get started? So we're going to give you a little nudge to things to think about and things you can ask yourself. And those questions really are really important. And all the prompts are across all 5 of the core areas: the body, the mind, the spirit, the connection, and exploration. So you can download your free copy of that and start your show up journey with this very moment that we're in right now. So just head over to wanderingbutnotlost.com and go to our downloads link in the main menu, or head over to our show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. This has been episode 365. 365 isn't about a number, although it's pretty cool that we've done 365 podcasts. I have to say. Right, do a little patting on our back, I guess, right? Because that was commitment, has been commitment for many years now. But it's about decision. It's about to wake up and return, to pay attention, to honor your own becoming. If you've been wandering, we've said it a million times, you're not lost, you're learning, you're gathering, you're growing. And today is one of those 365. It matters, and you matter. So take a breath, take a step, one moment, and call that your way of showing up. It's so simple to actually get this all going. So let this be day one of something sacred that you're going to be doing for the next 365 days. We're honored to be on that path with you. So until next time, keep wandering with intention and be forever wandering, but not lost.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.